somewhere below the reach of sunlight, in a part of the ocean called the midnight zone, there's a fish swimming around with its own built-in light right in front of its face. And that fish is actually one of the more normal creatures down there. Today, we're exploring the deep ocean, a part of our own planet that we've actually explored less than the surface of Mars. Less than 5% of the ocean floor has ever been seen by human eyes. So before we get into the creatures themselves, let's quickly talk about why the deep ocean makes everything so weird in the first place. Once you go past about 1,000 meters down, sunlight completely disappears. No light at all, ever. That area is called the midnight zone. Keep going past 4,000 meters and you're in the abyssal zone, where the water pressure is over 400 times stronger than what we feel walking around on land. There's no sunlight, no plants, and food is hard to find. Every animal down here has had to figure out how to eat, how to find a mate, and how to avoid being eaten, all without any of the things that make life easier near the surface. And that's exactly why the deep ocean has produced some of the strangest animals on Earth. The anglerfish. Let's start with the most famous deep sea fish out there, the anglerfish. There are actually over 300 species of anglerfish, and around half of them live deep underwater. Just among the deep sea ones, scientists have found more than 160 different species, and they come in all kinds of shapes. Some are round and chubby, some are flat with huge mouths, and some are even covered in weird whisker-like strands. The thing everyone recognizes them for is that glowing lure hanging off their head. That glow isn't something the fish makes itself. It actually comes from living bacteria that the fish keeps inside that lure, kind of like it's hosting its own tiny colony of glowing bacteria. And scientists think the fish picks them up from the surrounding water, rather than being born with them. Smaller fish see the light, think it's food, swim closer, and get grabbed by the anglerfish's oversized jaws and teeth, which point inward so once something's caught, it's not getting back out. But the wildest part of the anglerfish isn't the light. It's how they reproduce. In a lot of species, the male is unbelievably small compared to the female, sometimes less than 1% of her size. These males don't even have a working digestive system as adults, and they only have a short window of time to find a mate somewhere out in the massive, dark ocean. The Goblin Shark. Next up is the Goblin Shark. It was first discovered off the coast of Japan back in 1898, and it's the only living member of its entire family. A family that goes back around 125 million years. That's why people sometimes call it a living fossil. Goblin sharks live pretty deep, usually between 270 and 1,300 meters down, though a tooth from one was even found on an underwater cable at a similar depth, so they might live even deeper than we think. Looking at it, the goblin shark doesn't look like any other shark. Its body is soft and a bit flabby instead of muscular, and its skin is almost see-through, which is why it looks pink. You're basically seeing its blood vessels through its skin. It also has a long, flat snout, which scientists believe helps it detect tiny electrical signals given off by prey, which is very useful when you're hunting in total darkness. But here's the part that took scientists over 100 years to actually see happen. The goblin shark's jaw isn't attached the way ours is. It sits pulled back inside its mouth, held in place by fractious, stretchy ligaments. When prey gets close enough, those ligaments release, and the jaw shoots forward out of the mouth to grab it, then snaps right back. This wasn't even caught on camera until 2008, and again in 2011. Once scientists finally had footage to study, they found the jaw can shoot out almost 10% of the shark's entire body length, at speeds up to 3.1 meters per second. That's the fastest jaw movement ever recorded in a shark. Scientists also noticed the shark opens and closes its mouth one more time while the jaw is snapping back, and nobody's totally sure why. The best guess is that this crazy jaw evolved because the goblin shark is a slow, weak swimmer. So instead of chasing down prey, it lets its jaw do all the work. The Dumbo Octopus. The Dumbo Octopus isn't just one animal. It's actually a whole group of at least 17 different species. They get their nickname from those two fins on their head that look just like ears, similar to the Disney elephant. Those ear fins are actually how the octopus swims. Instead of shooting water out to jet around like most octopuses do, the Dumbo octopus just flaps those fins slowly, which saves energy in a place where food is hard to come by. Its whole body is soft, squishy, and almost see-through, which helps it survive the crushing pressure down there without needing a hard shell or bones. And here's something wild. The Dumbo Octopus holds the record for the deepest octopus and the deepest cephalopod overall ever recorded. In 2020, researchers filmed one nearly 7,000 meters down in the Java Trench. That's over 4 miles underwater. That discovery proved that octopuses can actually survive in the deepest part of the ocean, and it pushed the known depth limit for the entire octopus and squid family down by over a mile in a single sighting. Because they can apparently live this deep, Dumbo octopuses might have access to almost the entire ocean floor on Earth. One more interesting thing, unlike almost every other octopus, the Dumbo octopus doesn't have an ink sac. Normally, octopuses squirt ink to hide from predators that hunt by sight. But down where the Dumbo octopus lives, there's no light for a predator to see by anyway, and barely any predators at all. So that defense mechanism just was never needed. Instead, it spends its time hovering just above the seafloor, swallowing small creatures like tiny crustaceans and worms, the giant squid and the colossal squid. For hundreds of years, sailors told stories about massive sea monsters that could drag entire ships underwater. Turns out, those stories were probably based on real encounters with giant squid. And believe it or not, we didn't actually get video of a giant squid alive in the wild until 2012, when a team of Japanese and American researchers finally filmed one near the Ogasawara Islands. Giant squid can grow up to 13 meters long, making them one of the longest invertebrates on the planet. Their arms are covered in suction cups lined with tiny teeth, which can leave circular scars on prey. Then there's their even bigger cousin, the colossal squid. First identified back in 1925, we only knew about this animal for a full century through leftover parts found inside whale stomachs or the occasional squid accidentally caught by fishing boats. It wasn't until March 2025 that anyone actually filmed one alive in its natural habitat. A research team caught footage of a young colossal squid, only about 30 centimeters long, at 600 meters deep near the South Sandwich Islands. Keep in mind, that was just a baby. Adults are believed to grow up to 7 meters long and weigh close to 500 kilograms, making the colossal squid the heaviest invertebrate we know of. Unlike giant squid, colossal squid have actual rotating hooks on their arms and tentacles, some of which can spin all the way around. Both giant and colossal squid also have the biggest eyes of any animal on Earth, up to about 30 centimeters across, roughly the size of a dinner plate. For a long time, people just assumed bigger eyes were useful because they collect more light in the dark. But newer research suggests there's a more specific reason. Eyes that big might be perfect for spotting the faint glow created when something huge moves through bioluminescent plankton from over 100 meters away. Basically, giving the squid an early warning system before an attack even happens. The Barreleye Fish. Last up is one of the strangest looking fish in the ocean, the Barreleye Fish. It was first discovered in 1939, but one of its most important features stayed a total mystery for almost 70 years. This fish has a completely see-through dome-shaped head, and you can actually see its two tube-shaped eyes right through it. The reason nobody knew about this sooner is that every single specimen pulled up in a net over the decades arrived at the surface with that fragile dome completely destroyed. So scientists studying dead specimens had no idea the dome even existed intact. That changed in 2004 when researchers finally filmed a living barreleye using an underwater robot at a depth between 600 and 800 meters off the coast of California. For the first time, they saw the transparent dome fully in place. But there was an even bigger discovery. For years, everyone assumed the fish's tube-shaped eyes were stuck permanently pointing straight up. Turns out, that's not true. The footage showed the eyes can actually rotate almost 90 degrees inside that dome, pointing upward to watch for prey passing overhead, then rotating forward when it's time to actually eat. That discovery solved a mystery that had puzzled scientists for years. How does this fish actually catch its food? The current theory is that the barreleye either steals food from the tentacles of jellyfish-like creatures or picks off small drifting creatures above it. That see-through dome is believed to protect its eyes from getting stung while it feeds, since the eyes stay safely tucked inside instead of being exposed directly to the water. Because that dome is so fragile and this fish lives so deep, sightings are extremely rare. Researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium have only spotted it fewer than 10 times across more than 5,000 deep sea dives. Here's the wild part to end on. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. Every single creature in this video was found completely by chance, usually by a research boat or an underwater camera that happened to be in the right place at the right time. So if this many bizarre animals have already been found by accident, there's a good chance something even weirder is still out there, somewhere we simply haven't looked yet. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you are subscribed to not miss the upcoming videos. See you in the next one.